Eastern PA Weather 30 meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for August 24th, 2016. For your Wednesday, we're going to have high pressure moving off to the east today, so that is going to be located right over here in this direction. That was previously over top of us on Tuesday, which is why we had such a nice low humidity day with very little in the way of cloud cover. It was very difficult to find clouds yesterday. Today you'll have an increase in clouds in the afternoon. These are just going to be those fair weather cumulus, much like we had on Monday. But really overall, it's not going to be a bad day today either. Temperatures are going to increase a little bit because the high pressure is over in this location here. You're going to have a southwesterly wind component coming in, not too strong yet. So I still think temperatures are going to increase to only slightly above normal for this time of year. We're not going to get anything crazy yet. Also keeping the humidity relatively in check. Today. We do increase that a little bit as we go into Thursday, however. We have a cold front moving to the north of the area. I do think this does stay far enough northwest that it does not affect Thursday's forecast. Your cold front situated up here like this, and the area low pressure driving it is up here in New England. So I think that stays back here on Thursday. So we are also a partly cloudy day here on Thursday. Now, overnight, this is going to fall apart as it moves southeast, and that's because it's running into this ridge that's off the southeastern U.S. coastline. Is starting to build at the same time. So these fronts that are coming in are rendered very weak, and they tend to dissipate as they head eastward. And you can see that here in the overnight. Very little, if any, precipitation coming through in the overnight. But we're going to allow for that isolated shower possibility for then. And again here on Friday morning, maybe across the northern areas might get into some of that activity, but it's going to be very, very light if it does occur, and very hit or miss. So they're looking at probably after midnight through maybe the first half of Friday, you're looking at for that isolated shower chance across the northern tier. Otherwise, it should be a partly cloudy day here on Friday for most. And we go a little bit further here into the evening on Friday. You can see that pretty much falls apart. Now, one thing's going to change here on Friday is we're going to have the temperatures go up. We're going to be challenging the 90-degree mark again for many of our central and southern locations. So we'll be quite warm. And then when we get to Saturday and Sunday, even though the front's going through, it's not going to do much to change temperatures. And that's because this front's just kind of falling apart as it moves southeast. So it doesn't have an influence on temperatures too much. It might knock it back a degree or two at most, but really not looking like it's going to really affect too much. We get into the weekend. Here's Saturday. High pressure and control once again. So we're having a nice day here on Saturday. Same thing here for your day on Sunday. I think everything that's going to be coming in for Monday, the next frontal boundary, also running out of steam, moving east, will affect us most likely later in the day on Monday. But I think Sunday is also a dry day. Still have high pressure off to our northeast here, so that's going to keep us dry, it looks like, through the entire weekend. So getting into Monday now, I do want to show you what Monday looks like. We have that cold front that's off to our north. It may dip far enough south that it gives you some scattered showers and thunderstorms activity on Monday. This is assuming that the front still stays intact. It's still running to this ridge, because at this time you still have a very strong southeasterly ridge. High pressure's out here in the Atlantic. It's off to the east a little bit, but I'll just show you where the periphery of that high is right here. So you can see there's a strong influence here from this high pressure trying to keep that ridge intact, and this front moving southeast. So don't be surprised if future runs this kind of falls apart and we're left with very little, if any, rainfall. Now, we're going to watch the tropics this week, but it's really too early to be concerned about anything in this area. And when I say this area, I'm concerned about the area right along the Jersey Shore points all the way down to about Ocean City, Maryland. That's really our area of concern. I don't see anything happening, at least in the next 5 days, to get alarmed about. Right now, there's several different pieces of model guidance that are suggesting a South Florida hit, namely the European model. And we can see the, let me pull up an image here that shows you what we're talking about first. This is the National Hurricane Center graphic that shows you the systems out in the Atlantic here. Now this is Fiona. This is a post-tropical system. So this is now dissipating and going to become nothing. The actual tropical storm that should become a hurricane is Gaston, that's sitting out here. This one is going to head up in this up in this direction like this, and not affect land. The one we're concerned about is not even a named system yet, nor does it have a low-level circulation. This is Invest 99L, is all it's called right now. This is not a named storm, but is expected to go through this area right about here. And when it's in this area here, it's in an unfavorable environment yet. So I think you're running into a lot of dry air, not expecting to develop it much. But these waters right around here in the Bahamas are extremely ripe, extremely warm. We're talking about temperatures that are 88, 90 degrees for water temperature. So when this crosses into that area, it will rapidly develop if it can take the right path through here and not encounter that much shear. So there's some models that are taking right into South Florida especially the European models hitting at that. Are some models still hitting it somewhere along the southeastern U.S. coastline? I think the most viable track, since it's staying on a weaker side, if this is weaker through here, which I expect it to be, it favors a Florida hit or a Gulf of Mexico track after that point. So I don't expect it to come up the coast. I'm probably 70-30 for having it hit Florida or come in the vicinity of South Florida and then continue in the Gulf of Mexico, just because it's going to be weaker in this area here, and tropical systems tend to do that. But we are going to be watching that. Many different track possibilities shown here. The general idea, this is where 99L is right now. Again, it's not a named storm, not expected to be anywhere in here either. It's going to be encountering a lot of dry air and a lot of shear. But once it gets up here in the Bahamas in these very warm, ripe waters, it could rapidly develop. And you can see some of these southern tracks here are now picking up on the fact, like the European model, heading it right into South Florida, and then it continues into the Gulf of Mexico, and who knows what after that. It actually strengthens it into a major hurricane. But we don't want to go too far down the road with this and expect something major is going to happen at this point. We're just going to concentrate on where it goes in the next 5 days. And right now, biggest threat concern is for the southern half of Florida. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for August 24th, 2016. Have a great Wednesday.